So I flew all the way to Barcelona to visit one of the most iconic stadiums in football history, Spotify Camp Nou, the home of the legends, the home of history, the home of everything football fans dream of. And when I got there, it was closed. Not partially closed, but completely closed. At first I thought the whole trip was ruined. No tunnel walk, no pitch view, no dressing rooms. But then I found out something unexpected, which is the Barcelona Immersive tour. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought it would be one of those boring backup museum experiences. But it turns out I was wrong because it turned out to be very interesting. FC Barcelona basically turned their stadium into a high-tech interactive experience while it's still being rebuilt. Instead of walking through the stadium, you walk through the history, the legends, the identity of the club, and it all leads to one thing. An immersive experience that tries to replace the feeling of being inside the stadium. You walk in and immediately you're surrounded by history. Massive screens, trophies, moments frozen in time, you name it. And of course, Lionel Messi is everywhere. Goals, assists, magic, and even his own trophy cabinet, which comprises of his Ballon d'Ors, golden boots, golden balls, and everything in between. In the museum, you move through different zones, the interactive displays, digital storytelling, and the classic Barca moments. In the trophy cabinet, you don't only see the men's team trophies, but you also get to see the women's team trophies, the basketball team, and also the ice hockey trophies. If you're someone who prefers structure than winging it like me, you can make use of the audio guide which you get at the entrance when you arrive, and when you scan the QR code, you'll be able to download it, listen in, and walk through the stadium with the assistance of the audio guide. To get to the stadium straight from the airport, you can use the L9 metro line, and you get off at Cola Blancs, if that's how you pronounce it, and then you can walk about 10 minutes to the stadium. It's very easy to navigate if you use Google Maps properly. Alternatively, you can use the bus. There's a lot of buses that go straight to the stadium from the city center or from anywhere that you're coming from in Barcelona, because there's a bus stop that is literally opposite the stadium. So it will be very easy for you to get there. And if you also want, you can just use a taxi. It's about 20 euros, 30 euros if you're coming from the airport. And if you're coming from anywhere else nearby the stadium, maybe it'll be a little bit cheaper than that. Now, moving on with our tour, let's talk about the main room, shall we? The one that everyone talks about, where lights go down and suddenly you're surrounded by a 360-degree stadium experience. Crowd noise hits, lights flash, and it feels like you're inside the Champions League night at Camp Nou. For a second, your brain forgets it's not real. This is easily the best part of the entire tour. And here's the truth that no one really tells you. You never actually step into the stadium. At most, you get a view of the construction side. But I'll take the 360 view because, it was really interesting and it made me get a feel of how the stadium will possibly feel like if I ever get a chance to get there in future. Now, let's talk about whether this was worth it or not. So for the basic ticket, it was 30 euros, and for the full experience, it's 50 euros. What do I mean when I say full experience? Full experience is when you get to do the RoboKeeper game and also the virtual reality. And I basically just did the basic tour because I didn't have so much time in Barcelona. I had only 8 hours. And I will give this an 8 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10, because life could have been a bit more interesting if I got to experience the tunnel, the stadium. Just like what I did when I went to PSG, I basically got the full experience of everything. And I even saw Kylian Mbappe's dressing room and all those kind of things. So this one was a bit of a disappointment for me in terms of the fact that I could not see the stadium. But they already warned us on the ticket that we're not going to experience it. It's just that I thought maybe we would see a tiny, intimate view. But unfortunately, that did not happen. But for the virtual experience that we had and the displays of the trophies, as you can see, it was really nice and it was worth the money. And I couldn't say I wasted my 30 euros. No, I didn't. And also the picture that I got at the end was actually very beautiful. It was 30 euros for one picture. And if you want the full album, which has like other displays, you can get it for 59 euros. But I did not need the full album, so I just decided to take one picture. So that was also another interesting part of the tour. They are trying their best, honestly, to make it a bit more realistic for the Barcelona fans and for anybody who wants to experience the history of Barcelona, even if Spotify Camp Nou is not yet open. And I do hope by 2027, as they say, it will be open so that people can actually get to experience Camp Nou live and direct, because this was more like a preview, like, you know, the futuristic version of the Camp Nou, but it was fun anyway. Now, if you start diving into FC Barcelona, the numbers alone sound so unreal. This is a club that has won over 90 official trophies, including around 27 La Liga titles, more than 30 Copa del Rey trophies, which actually makes them the most successful club in that competition, and multiple UEFA Champions League titles, with iconic wins in 1992, 2006, 2009, 2011, and 2015. But what really makes Barca stand out isn't just the trophies, it's how they won them. Under players like Lionel Messi, who scored over 670 goals for the club and became their all-time top scorer, Barca dominated world football for over a decade. And Messi didn't just score, he won a number of Ballon d'Or awards whilst at the club, turning Camp Nou into a place where almost anything felt possible. What's even crazier is that many of those legendary players didn't come from big transfers. They came from Barca's own academy, which produced stars like Xavi and Andres Iniesta, players who completely changed how football was viewed and how football is played with their short passing, possession-heavy style known as tiki-taka. This philosophy actually goes back to Johan Cruyff, who helped shape the club's identity both as a player and as a coach, influencing everything from the first team to the youth system. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. Barca isn't owned by a billionaire. It's owned by its fans, over 140,000 members, which is why the club's motto, Mesquen un Club, feels real, not just rebranding. Even their stadium, Camp Nou, reflects that scale. It's the largest in Europe, holding nearly 100,000 fans, and on big nights it becomes one of the loudest, most intense atmospheres in football. Add to the fact that Barcelona is consistently one of the most followed and commercially successful sports teams in the world, selling millions of jerseys every year and attracting fans from every continent, and you start to realize that this isn't just a football club, it's a global phenomenon. It's a culture that has shaped the sport for generations. And what a lot of people don't realize is that FC Barcelona isn't just dominant in men's football. The women's team FC Barcelona Femení has become one of the most powerful teams in the world, and in the recent years they've completely taken over European football, winning multiple UEFA Women's Champions League titles, including historic seasons where they even dominated almost every game, alongside numerous Liga F titles and domestic cups. Players like Alexia, who has won multiple Ballon d'Or awards, helped push the team into global recognition, turning Barca Femení into a symbol of modern women's football. And it doesn't stop there. Barca is actually a multi-sport club, in case you didn't know. Their basketball team, FC Barcelona Basket, is one of the biggest in Europe, winning multiple Liga ACB titles, Copa del Rey trophies, and even EuroLeague championships, competing at the highest level against the best clubs on the continent. And they've had legendary players and remain a constant powerhouse in European basketball. Even in smaller sports, the club's reach is actually crazy. Like the FC Barcelona roller hockey team, which, while not as globally famous, has still won several Spanish league titles and represents the club's identity across completely different sports. So when people say Barca is more than a club, it's not just about football. It's literally an entire sporting empire, dominating across men's football, women's football, basketball, even roller hockey, all under one badge. Now, as you can see, I went to the Barcelona store where they have a lot of collections, exclusive collections, jerseys, and hats, and even souvenirs. And as you can see, the store actually is designed like a stadium where you actually have places to sit if you're tired, and everything just looks so amazing. So Barcelona FC is a whole experience. From the immersive tour to the Barca store, everything is just splendid. And I think I can say they tried, honestly, to make to make up for the fact that Spotify Camp Nou is not yet done, and we obviously completely forgot about it by the time we left the stadium, because everything there was actually fun. But anyways, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kundai KC, as I will be doing more of these videos. I talk about EPL, Champions League, and everything international football on this channel. And if you want local news, please subscribe to Sports Insights Global, where I'll be talking about Zimbabwean news, Zimbabwean football, and interviews on Zimbabwean athletes. Thank you and goodbye.